Hello, everyone. I am Apostle Lydia Casula, and welcome to DIY Podcast. This is a space where we have honest conversations about faith, marriage, relationships, womanhood, purpose, healing, and becoming the woman God has called us to be. So, ladies, take the front seat and let us have this conversation. Today, I want to talk about something that I believe many people have forgotten, especially in today's generation. Marriage is a covenant, not a contract. Now, when most people hear the word covenant, they immediately think of something deep, spiritual, and complicated, but it's actually very simple. Let me explain. A contract says I will keep my side of the agreement as long as you keep yours. And a covenant says I am committed even when things are not perfect. Can you see the difference? The problem is that many people enter marriages with contract mentality without even realizing it. They say things like, as long as he makes me happy, as long as she respects me, as long as my needs are being met, as long as things are going well. But what happens when life happens? What happens when money gets tight? What happens when communication breaks down? What happens when children come into the picture and suddenly you're both exhausted? What happens when your spouse disappoints you? Because if we can really be honest, every married person will disappoint their spouse at some point. Not because they are evil, not because they don't love you, but because they are human. And this is where covenant becomes important. You see, marriage was never designed to be sustained by feelings alone because feelings change. Some days you feel romantic, some days you feel frustrated, some days you feel deeply connected. Some days you wonder if your spouse is speaking a completely different language. That's real life. And if marriage depended only on feelings, many marriages would not survive difficult seasons. And if marriages depended only on feelings, many marriages would not survive difficult seasons. A covenant says, I'm not here only for the good days, I'm here for the challenging days too. Now, let me be clear. A covenant does not mean accepting abuse. A covenant does not mean tolerating mistreatment. A covenant does not mean pretending problems don't exist. What it means is understanding that healthy marriages require commitment, forgiveness, grace, and intentional effort. One thing I've learned is that many people spend more time planning their weddings than preparing for marriage. The wedding lasts a few hours only. Marriage is a lifetime journey. And on that journey, you're going to need patience, you're going to need communication, you're going to need humility, you are going to need forgiveness because eventually your spouse will make mistakes. And guess what? So will you. That's why I always say that marriage is not the union of two perfect people. It's the union of two imperfect people choosing to love each other every day. And isn't that exactly what God does with us? Think about it. How many times have we fallen short? How many times have we made mistakes? Yet God remains faithful. God relates to us through covenant. His love is not based on convenience. His love is based on commitment. And our marriages should reflect that same spirit. So today I want to ask you a question. When you think about your marriage, your future marriage, or your view of relationships, are you thinking like someone entering a contract? Or are you thinking like someone entering a covenant? Because a contract asks, what can I get out of this? But a covenant asks, how can I remain faithful to what God has called me to be? A contract focuses on conditions. A covenant focuses on commitment. A contract looks for an exit when things become difficult. But a covenant looks for ways to heal, grow, and move forward together. Are you viewing marriage through the lens of convenience or through the lens of covenant? Because the strength of a marriage is not determined by how easy life becomes. The strength of a marriage is often revealed by how committed two people remain when life becomes difficult. Dear wife, marriage is more than a legal agreement. Marriage is more than a ceremony. Marriage is more than a document. Marriage is a covenant before God. And when husbands and wives embrace covenant thinking, they build relationships that can weather storms, overcome challenges, and grow stronger through every season. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. And remember, dear wife, contracts are held together by terms and conditions. Covenants are held together by commitment and faithfulness. Until next time, continue to walk in wisdom, walk in love, and walk with God. God bless.